Hello everyone, this is teacher Ricky B. Welcome back to our class. Today's topic is about understanding solid figure.
The objectives of this video lesson are: differentiate solid figure from plane figure, visualizes and describes the different solid figures like cubes, prism, pyramid, cylinder, cone, and sphere using various concrete and pictorial models, and identifies the faces of a solid figure. Let us begin. What is the difference of plane figure to solid figure? Let's find out. Plane figure versus solid figure. Plane figure is either two-dimensional shapes or flat plane geometry shapes. Their sides are made of straight or curved lines. They can have any number of sides. Plane figures made of lines are called polygons. Example, we can say closed figures drawn on a paper which have only length and width are called 2D figures or two-dimensional figures. Some sample of plane figures are shaped like rectangle, square, circle, triangle, trapezoid, pentagon, hexagon, and many more. A solid figure is a three-dimensional or 3D figure made up of plane figures where all sides are joined together to form a closed figure. It has length, width, and height or depth. Solid figures are also called spatial or space figure. Here are some samples of solid figures, and later we will be discussing them one by one. Remember that plane figure are two-dimensional shapes and solid figure is a three-dimensional figure. And using plane figure, we can create solid figure. Let me show you how plane figure used to create solid figure. Example, using the square, we can create the solid figure which we called cube. In order for us to make this cube, we needed 6 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This diagram represents two-dimensional shape, and this is called net. What is net? A net is a two-dimensional shape that can be folded to make a three-dimensional shape. The net of a solid is a diagram shown on a paper which when cut and folded along the lines can be used to construct a solid shape. Let me show you a video how this diagram being made into solid figure. There you go. By cutting and folding the lines of the net, a solid shape was constructed. Now, let's understand the concept of solid figures. Polyhedron means many faces. It is a solid figure with flat surfaces or the faces are made up of polygonal regions. All polyhedron have faces, edges, and vertex. Let us identify each. The first one is the face. In this solid figure such cube, which is the face? Let me show you. There you go. That shaded part of cube is one of its faces. What is face anyway? A face is the flat surface of a solid figure. The lateral face of an object is all of the sides of the object, excluding its base and top. Now, let us count the number of faces in this solid figure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many faces are there? So this solid figure has 6 faces. How many lateral faces are there? When we say lateral faces, these are all sides of a solid figure, excluding the top and the base. Let's count the lateral face of this solid figure. 1, 2, 3, and 4. It has 4 lateral faces. Top and base is 1, 2. So, if we will be adding the number of lateral faces, the top and the base of this solid figure, we get 6 faces in all. The next part of the solid figure is the edge. In this solid figure, which part is the edge? There you go. That is one of the edge of this cube. What is edge? An edge is formed when two faces meet, and an edge is a straight line segment. Let me show you an illustration. This is a line segment, and it is formed when two faces meet. So, this is one of the edge of the cube. Now let's count the number of edges the solid figure have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. How many edges are there? There are 12 edges in all. Now, let's identify which part of the solid figure is the vertex. There you go. That is one of the vertex of this cube. What is vertex anyway? A vertex is a point where two or more edges meet. When many vertex in a solid figure, we can name it as vertices as a plural form of vertex. Now, let me show you how vertex is formed. When two or more edges meet at a common point, that point is called vertex. Now, let us count the number of vertex this cube have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many vertices are there? Good job. It has 8 vertices. Hope it is clear to you which part of the solid figure are the face, edges, and vertex. This time, we will learn the different solid figures. We will count the number of faces, edges, and vertices, and what polygonal shape used in each solid figure. I will also show nets of each one and various concrete objects that we can see or find in our surrounding that resembles to each solid shapes. Let's begin with cube. As I have shown you previously, cube is a polyhedron with 6 faces that are congruent squares. It has 8 vertices and 12 edges. The edges have equal lengths. Since all faces of a cube is a square, then all edges intersecting a vertex are perpendicular. Remember, a cube has 6 faces. 8 vertices and 12 edges. This is one of the net of a cube. As you can see, it has 6 congruent shapes: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And when cut and folded, we create cube. Here are some concrete objects that may resemble cube: rubric cube, die, gift box, ice cube, and many more. The next solid figure is prism. Prism, it is a polyhedron that has two opposite bases that are parallel and congruent. The other faces are called lateral faces, which are rectangles. The faces meet all edges, and edges meet a vertex. This figure is an example of prism, and this is named as rectangular prism. Rectangular prism, it has 6 rectangular faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges. All the opposite faces of a rectangular prism are equal. A rectangular prism has a rectangular cross section. Remember, a rectangular prism has 8 vertices. Let's try to look these 8 vertices in the given solid figure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. It has 8 vertices. Now let's look for 12 edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It has 12 edges. And it has 6 rectangular faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why it is named as rectangular prism? Because its base and top are made of rectangular shape. This one is one of the net this rectangular prism have. This will be the base of the solid figure when folded and formed into solid figure. This one is the top. As you can see, base and top are parallel and congruent to each other. These are the sides of a solid figure. And if we're going to count the number of rectangles as represented in the net, there are 6 rectangular faces, and each face is congruent and parallel to one another. Here are some concrete objects that we can see in our surrounding that resembles the rectangular prism. How about this figure? Do you think it is a prism? Yes, it is. This type of prism is called triangular prism. Triangular prism, it is a 3-sided prism. It is a polyhedron made of a triangular base. A right triangular prism has rectangular faces. Otherwise, it is oblique. It has 5 faces, 9 edges, and 6 vertices. Now, let's look for 5 faces of this solid figure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can see, the faces are composed of 2 triangles and 3 rectangles. It has also 9 edges. Let's count. 1, 2. There you go. It has 9 edges and it has 6 vertices. Let's count. This prism, such triangular prism, has 6 vertices. Again, why it is named as a triangular prism? Because it has a triangular base. This is one of the net of a triangular prism. As you can see, there are 2 triangle shapes and 3 rectangular shapes. And that 2 triangle shape, when folded, it will become its base, the top and the bottom. Sample of this one is the Toblerone box. The next one, what figure is this? It is a trapezoidal prism, one example or type of a prism. Why it is named as trapezoidal prism? Let's find out. Trapezoidal prism, it is a 3-dimensional solid that has 2 congruent trapezoid for its top and lower base. It has 4 rectangles that connect to the corresponding sides of the 2 bases. These 4 rectangles are called the lateral faces of the prism. Now, how many faces are there? Let's count. 1, 2, and these 2 faces is a trapezoid shape, and this can be the top and the lower base of this object. That's why it is named as trapezoidal prism. The next face is we have 3, 4, 5, 6. Therefore, this trapezoidal prism has 6 faces. How many edges are there? Let's count it. 1, 2. How many edges are there? There are 12 edges. How about how many vertices are there? Let's count. How many vertices are there? There are 8 vertices. Therefore, this prism has 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. This is a net of a trapezoidal prism. As you can see here, there are 2 trapezoid shape where this can be the base of the trapezoidal prism. It could be the top and the base. And it has 1, 2, 3 rectangular shapes that are the same sizes and 1 rectangular shape that are bigger than the other. Therefore, it has 6 faces. When folded, we can create a trapezoidal prism. The next solid figure is pyramid. It is a polyhedron with triangular faces, a polygon as a base, and a vertex called the apex. Pyramid are also named based on the shape of its base. So remember, there are different kinds of pyramid and each kind is named according to their base. Example of pyramid is this one. The polygon below is what we call the base. Let's assume that its base is a square shape. And then the shape such triangles when they were connected, this is called the apex. Since the base of this solid figure is square, so we named it according to its base. So this is a square pyramid. Square pyramid, it is made up of 5 faces. So what are those faces? 4 triangles and 1 square. So it has also 8 edges and 5 vertices. So example, this one. Let's count the number of faces. So it says there it has 5 faces. So the first face is the base. So let's assume that the base is a square. And then another 4 triangles. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Therefore, square pyramid have 5 faces. Now let's count the number of edges. There are 8 edges. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 edges and 5 vertices. So let's count the number of vertices. This is square pyramid. 1, and that is called the apex. 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. Square pyramid has 5 faces, 8 edges, and 5 vertices. This is one of a net that this square pyramid has. Okay, so as you can see, the base is a square and it has 4 triangular faces. So when cut and folded, we can create or form a square pyramid. This time, let's try to have another types or kinds of pyramid. So we have here, what shape is this? It has 6 sides. So it is a hexagon. So let's try to make a pyramid out of this hexagon shape. So if we're going to make it this one, so we can name this one as hexagonal pyramid. And how many faces a hexagonal pyramid have? Since we have one hexagon as its base, so we have one hexagonal base. Then since hexagon has 6 sides, therefore there are 6 triangular faces plus 1 hexagon base, so it has 7 faces. How about this one? What shape is this? This is a pentagon. So we can draw out of this one, we can make this pyramid, and this is named according to the base, which is pentagon. So it is named as pentagonal pyramid. So it has 1 pentagon base as a base, and then since pentagon has 5 sides, therefore it has 5 triangular faces. So 5 plus 1, it has 6 faces. How about this one? It is a rectangle. So we can draw this one. So we can name this one as rectangular pyramid, and it has 5 faces. 1 rectangular face as the base and 4 triangular faces. Therefore, it has 6 faces in all. Remember that there are different types or kinds of pyramid, and each kind is named according to their bases. Okay, so here are some example. This is what we call the Pyramid of Egypt, or we can say that the roof of your houses is a pyramid type. So we can say that it resembles to a pyramid. Now let's go to the next solid figure, and that is cylinder. Cylinder, it is a 3-dimensional solid figure that contains 2 parallel bases connected by curved surface. The bases are usually circular base in shape. The perpendicular distance between the bases is denoted as the height of the cylinder, and r is the radius of the cylinder. It has 3 faces, 2 edges, and 0 vertex. So this is an example of a cylinder. It says there that this will be the radius, the distance of circle from one side to the center, and then the full length is what we call the diameter of the circular shape, the top and the bottom, or top and the base of the solid figure. And then the distance between 2 bases, which is the circular base, top and bottom, is the height of that solid figure. So cylinder is composed or is created from two circular shape, the top and the base, and it has a curved surface that can be created from rectangular shape. So therefore, it has three faces, two edges, and zero vertex. There is no vertex in this one. So this is an example of a net of a cylinder. If we're going to cut them and folded them, we can create a solid figure such cylinder. As you can see, there are two circular shape, the top and then the bottom. Then we have rectangular shape. So if we're going to fold or cut and fold them, we can create this cylinder. So here are some example of solid figures or objects that we can see from our surroundings that resembles cylinder. So we have here the batteries, the tissues, candle, tin can, okay, some canned goods, the Pringles itself, the container. So those are some example of objects that we can see in our environment or surroundings that resembles to solid figure cylinder. This time let's go to sphere. What is a sphere? A sphere, it is resembled to the shape of a ball. It is bounded by a surface whose points are equidistant from a point called center. Just like a circle, a sphere has a radius and diameter. So this is an example of a sphere object or sphere figure. The center, going to the side, if let's assume that this picture is circle, because it says there it is resembled or it is like a circle having a radius. So this will be the radius, and then the full length is the diameter. It is perfectly symmetrical. All points on the surface are the same distance from radius or from center. It has no edges or vertices, so remember that one. It has no edges or vertices or corners. It has one surface, not a face, as it isn't flat. So remember that the sphere has no face, but we called it a surface since it is not flat. So it is not a polyhedron. Why? Because it has no faces. It has only surface. It has one curved surface, zero flat face, zero edge, and zero vertex. We can say this is an example of a sphere net. So when cut and folded, we can form or create a sphere. So that is a net of a sphere. So example of objects that we can see resembles to sphere. We have these tangerines or oranges, the earth, football, iron ball, the full moon. These are some examples of solid figure or objects that we can see in our surroundings that resembles to sphere. Next solid figure is cone. Cone is a solid figure with circular base and a vertex. The circular base and the vertex are connected by a curved surface. It has two faces, one vertex and one edge. So remember that one. A cone has two faces, one vertex and one edge. So this is example of a cone. So there is a circular base and then apex as well. So that is one vertex, this one. The top is the vertex and this is the base, which is circular base. So as you can see here, we have circular base and curved surface. So it has two faces, one circular base and one curved face. So this is an example of a net of a cone. If we're going to cut it and fold them, we can form a cone. So here are some example of solid figure that are objects that resemble the solid figure cone. So we have the funnel, the ice cream cone, the birthday hat, or this. We usually see this along the road. Okay, so it resembles a cone shape. So the tip of the pencil, when you sharpened it, tip of the pencil is cone shape. Then the perfect cone, Mayon volcano, which is found in Albay. So hope you learned something from my discussion in this video lesson. So to test if you really learned from my discussion or from this video lesson, let's try to solve this activity card. Direction: identify the solid figures that is represented each real object below. Write the name of the solid figure in the blank before each number. So number 1 is an orange fruit. What solid figure it represented? It is a spear. So try to do item 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up to 10 and comment down below your answer. Another activity card is this one. Complete the table. Solid figure such cone, spear, cylinder, square, pyramid, and rectangular prism. You were going to draw illustration of the figure. So you were going to draw here. And how many vertices this solid figure have, number of faces, and number of edges. So example cone, number 1. So if you wanted to go back on the video lesson from the start in order for you to answer this one, you can do so. So hope you learned something from my discussion, children, and then see you on our next video lesson. Thank you.